Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to do my Pans eyeshadows update. It's an exciting one. I've got 2 new pans. I will be rolling in some new things. I don't want to spoil too much, but yeah, last time that I filmed this, I changed my rules again because what I was doing previously was just having 2 palettes in. I was going to use those palettes, you know, as many times as I can, and if I hit pan in them, that would be great. And I was trying to hit every single shade at least once. So what I changed was I went back to sort of the old pan nose eyeshadow rules, where I randomly selected 4 shades from my collection, and they happened to be all from different eyeshadow palettes. And then I also had 1 eyeshadow palette rolled in where I still wanted to use every single shade at least once and just see where I get to. And obviously, yes, the goal is to hit pans. And I have, yeah, a couple pans, so I'm excited to just talk to you about it. I'll start with the first one that's on my list. I actually rolled in the Just My Luck shade from Colourpop, and the shade that I rolled in last time was Olive You. And this is what it looks like right here. So it hasn't really changed too much. There's probably just a little bit more disturbance. I've only used that 5 times this month, and as you can see, there is no pan. I will just swatch this, but it's a really beautiful shade, but it's just super pigmented. And you know, I just didn't feel the need to force myself to wear it when I didn't really want to wear it. So I wore it as much as I wanted to. I love it, and I'll keep it in. I don't know if I will hit pan before I hit the 20 use goal, because that is my sort of how I do it, because, you know, I like to keep it fresh, so I do like to roll out if I don't hit a pan. And yeah, my usage goal would be 20 uses or pan. I don't think I'm going to be able to do that, but you know, I will try my best. So that one I have done 5 times. The next one is from my Dubious Place palette, the Bronzed palette. I love this palette, but the shade that I rolled in is my favorite shade of the palette, but is such a hard shade to pan, I would suspect. Anyway, so this is what it looks like. It is the second one here, and I have only used this 4 times. I have used it as a liner a couple of times. There is tiny little bit of a disturbance in the middle because I did use a very small brush a couple of those times, but otherwise it kind of looks the same. So it's just one of these really, really bright mattes. It's one of the pressed pigments. And yeah, I do not use a lot of this. I did use it in one look where I blended it out, but otherwise it's just a very, very strong color. And you know, that might be one where I have to just use it 20 times and roll out. Unfortunately, I think it might be a really hard one for me to pan, but I will do my best and we'll see how it looks in the next update. Let's see, what's the next one? The next one is from my Revolution palette, the what is this, chilled palette, yes. And the shade that I had is Natural, which is right here. So it has changed slightly, but you can still see the embossment. I have been sort of dabbling around the side there. This one I have used 7 times, but you really cannot see too much of a difference. So again, I might just hit it 20 times and then roll it out, unfortunately. The only shades that I really hit pan on this is this matte, which was so easy to do because of the color, and this shade because it was just such a soft formula. I'm pretty close with this one over here. Really like Excel, and I'm pretty sure I could hit pan in Haze because it's the same formula as Acapulco, and also like Calm as well. But this one I hadn't actually used at all until I rolled it in, so it is starting fresh. And you know, I don't really use a lot of this shade because it is quite like a deep green for me. So it's really just going to help me deepen out looks, and that's about it. So that one is there. So that all of those 3 are going to be staying in the project, which is fine. All right. So let's get on to something a little bit more exciting. So the full shade that I had is actually from my e.l.f. palette that I have now depotted, which is, gosh, I don't know, like the Electric Mood shade. Yes, and I have a video of me depotting that. The only reason I kept this shade was because it was in the project, but I really, really just like this shade, and it is the shade Winter. It is this, I would say icy, shimmery topper blue. It's really not nice at all. But you can see I've got a little cheeky pan in there, but I really don't like this. I don't like, oops, that was a dirty finger. Hold on, let me do that again. I really don't like, it looks all pink now because I swatched it with my pink finger, but I really don't like it on the eyes. It looks pretty nice there, but I tell you what, when I put this as a topper on my eyes, it was so flaky, so chunky, it just doesn't look good. And I have other topper shades that are really flaky and chunky and they look really stunning. This looks really bad. So yes, I have a pan in it. I hit pan in it after 4 uses, but I don't really want to keep it, but I have it and I don't know what to do with it because obviously, you know, it's quite nice to show that I have a pan. So yeah, I'll keep it for now, but it might be one that I'll declutter eventually because I just really don't like it. It's kind of unfortunate I rolled that in to the project knowing that that palette was a palette that I really didn't like and that I wanted to depot. But it is what it is. It is still a pan. All right, and then the next one is the eyeshadow palette that I rolled in, which is one of the bite-size e.l.f. palettes. It's the Berry Bad one. And I have used this palette 7 times now. And I have a cheeky pan. I have hit pan in this matte shade right here, as you can see. I hit pan in this after 5 uses, but I have used it 6 times. So I used it 1 more time after I saw the pan. And I used every single shade at least once. So I used that one once, I used this twice, and then I used this darker one 5 times. So yeah, my goal was to hit pan in this. I could see that it was pretty shallow when I rolled in and was the easiest shade for me to hit pan in this little quad here. And I have, so I'm super excited about that. I'm going to be rolling it out though, and obviously adding in a new palette into the project and then working from there. I'll use every single shade at least once. If I can hit a pan in it, that would be perfect. But it's just for me to keep it exciting for myself. And not just feel like I'm working on the same shades all the time and not using any of my other palettes. So yeah, that's what that one looks like right there. You can't even see it because my hand is a little bit more tan now, but anyway, exciting. All right, so let's do this. So I need to roll in 2 random shades from my whole collection plus 1 palette. So let me grab my trusty little random number generator and we will see what I pick. So I've got 1 out of 663 shades that I could pull from. I have not removed shades that might have pans in them. If they are, I'll just roll again. The first time that I roll will be the eyeshadow palette. So whatever shade I pick, that will be the eyeshadow palette that I use as, like, you know, the eyeshadow palette to focus on for this month. And then the other 2 rolls will be the 2 random shades that I would like to pan. So let's start. First one, eyeshadow palette 54, so it's gonna be an older palette. Then we've got 176 and 354, so all very different. So let me just pick those and I will let you know. Okay, so straight away, number 54 actually was from my e.l.f. Retro Paradise palette, which I had in the project only a couple months ago, I believe, and I got some nice pans in here. I've got 4 pans in it now. So I'm gonna roll again just simply because I would like to give some love to another palette. I literally just had this in the project, I think, what, 2 months ago. So let me roll again for that one, but the other 2 shades, they are fine, and I will tell you what they are in just a second. But yeah, let's roll one more time. 338. Okay, let's see what palette that is. All right, so there are definitely palettes here that want to just keep presenting themselves in this project. All 3 of these palettes I have actually used in the last, I would say, what, 6 months or so, maybe slightly long. No, actually, yeah, longer than that. But I have used them in my pan, those eyeshadows, since I've been changing it up. But unlike the e.l.f. one, I didn't just use them. And 2 of these are just going to be like 1 shade in the palette. So I'm going to keep them. It's all good. But nothing new here, unfortunately. So the last one I just rolled in, number 338, is actually the Passion shade from my Norvina from ABH, this one. So this is going to be my focus palette for the next month. I actually did do something similar to this, I think sometime in October, November time, but that is absolutely fine. I really love this palette and I'm quite excited to dip my hands into it again. And to be honest, I love these shimmers so much. You might see a cheeky pan. I don't know, we will see. Definitely in this Dreamer shade, there is a lot of disturbance, and you know, I never hit a pan in ABH, but I hear it's quite easy, so I'll see about this, but this might be a good one to do. So number 354 was from my Huda Beauty Desert Dust palette, and I actually have this in another project. I'm focusing on 2 shades in here, and the shade that was picked, is Turkish Delight. Ooh, okay, it's this one down here. So this one might be a hard one for me to pan. It is really, I don't know. It's not bad. It's okay. It's definitely not my favorite of the palette, so I'll just have to think about that. It's right there. I think what it is, I don't really like the flip of it. It's got like this darkness to it that I don't particularly gravitate towards, but that is a shade that I need to pull and hit a pan in. And then the other shade that I rolled in is from my Book of Magic. This one I have had in the project for a bit, and I have pans in here. I have 3 pans in here. This one I think I had back in January or February time, and I already have some pans. But the shade that was rolled in is Alchemy, which is this one right here. So I think this one's going to be a really easy one for me to hit pan, because first of all, I think this palette is a really easy palette to play with. I love this palette so much, and these shimmers are so creamy, and that is a delicious, delicious color for me. Very easy for me to work on that one. And yeah, I find the mattes pretty easy, and I did hit a pan in this one. Not like, I didn't even like try, it was just, you know, one of those ones that I hit. But Alchemy is really beautiful, and I can use that in the inner corner just to brighten up looks. So I imagine I will definitely be able to hit pan in that probably by the next update. That will be the goal. So yeah, minus these 2, that is my new color story. Pretty nice. It is still a little bit more like autumny. I wouldn't say it's very spring-like, but honestly, don't mind. I think it's a really nice variety. You could go more neutral, or you could just still like lean into the greens, and I could use that pop of color. And then this, you know, with this one, yeah, I see a lot of different things that I could do with this, or I could just play around with different palettes with these shades. So yeah, super happy and pumped about this. And my Norvina, I love this palette, so I'm excited to play around with it more. If I can hit some pans in it, that would be even better. But yeah, that is my update for the month of May. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you'd like to, and I will see you next time.